Sit. Sit. That's it. Okay, you happy?
Yep, that's fine.
Okay. Welcome to Amazon Car's weekly news round again. It's the 17th of June this time, edition number 2. Well, let's start off with the workshop, shall we? Let's go and have a look at that. Garrys Car, you may recall I was just sorting out the fueling. Well, that all came in nicely. Normally we'd expect KN needles to work with this car's setup. We ended up fitting SU needles, which was really quite surprising. So, Garrys Car is now ready to go and we'll be competing on the 3rd of July up in Yorkshire. So I'm just going to have to do the final checks before we put it on the trailer and drive up there to meet Gareth. Now, Barnaby's 220. You may recall from last week we're doing a cam change and just waiting for the cylinder head to come back. So it now has a K-cam in the bottom and the cylinder head's back on there with the unleaded conversion. Pair of nice sexy new SUs. And once again we expected a pair of KN needles to sort it, and nothing of the sort. It was over rich at idle and sort of town speeds, and too lean out on the freeway. Once again, it transpired after a lot of work that a pair of SU needles sorted out the mixture. So that's very odd, and I can only suspect that this cylinder head has been worked and I hadn't noticed. So it's possibly a gas flowed cylinder head. Certainly the whole engine is extremely smooth and elegant. And that would explain why all of a sudden I've got two cars that instead of taking KN needles are running SU needles. So all this is waiting for now is an air filter box. Now if you haven't heard me going on about air filters on a twin carb car, let me just quickly explain why I always go for an air filter box. Particularly on the PV, but also on the Amazon and 140, the temperature coming into the rear air filter is about 10 degrees hotter than the temperature coming into the front. In other words, cylinders 3 and 4 are running very much down on efficiency compared to 1 and 2. And the way to sort that is to do exactly as Volvo did and fit a panel air filter box like that, drawing its air from the cold intake in front of the radiator. Now, unfortunately, Volvo stopped making the air filter bases, although we can still get the tops. And so I get our wonderful friend Roger Mauser to make these up for me, who lives up in Norfolk. And he does a beautiful job of making aluminium air boxes to match our cars. However, it has to be said, if only I could print these on the 3D printer, that would give me a huge amount of ability to choose what quantity I have in hand and to make subtle little changes that will improve the whole setup. However, I have a strong suspicion we're 5 centimeters too big for my printer. So I'll take that home tonight and see if I can't work out a way around that. So that's Barnaby's car. Just waiting for an air filter now. Let's have a look at next week. Next week we have an Amazon saloon coming in just for a service, so that should really only be 2 days' work at the most. So let's go and have a look at our own cars, because I should get time to put a bit of effort in on these next week. The PV came back from Brian's, from the spray shop. I need to get its trim back on, its Volvo letters, those rubber, what can we call those? The rubber, pardon? I suppose it is a sort of spat, here and on the other side, and basically get that ready to run and ready to compete. So I should get time to finish off Emma's PV. And back from Brian is Amy's, my daughter, her 142, which now has a full suite of brand new jacking points all round, which it was sadly lacking previously, embarrassingly. So that's now really ready to go, and it just needs to be competed in, actually. It hasn't had a competition yet, and it does need to have an outing. Now let's go and have a look at the cars we've got for sale down the end. And the Rally 444 that used to be campaigned by Wesley on the HRCR events, and Hero, I'm sure, that's still here. I think that's got a price tab of something like £7,000 on it, so that's still here. Emma's 444 is still up for sale, 17,000 for this rather nice B18 car. I think we need to start putting some miles on this, actually. We might start using that a bit during the summer. And at the back here, from 1974, is my beloved Z1A Kawasaki. And this is also for sale, actually, because I'm just not using it anymore, sadly. This is the bike, if you don't know about them, that the motorcycle press coined or minted the term superbike for. This is the first superbike. Came out shortly after Honda produced its dry sumped 750, which was significantly important in motorbike history. Kawasaki then scrapped their ideas for a 750 and produced this 900 instead. And it's a lovely bike to be out on.
It's such a pretty looking thing as well.
Here in my shop, I'm going to try and do this every week as well. A couple of the strange, no longer available items that we have lying around our shop that people would never think to ask for. Okay, this is a P1800, the left-hand door armrest, the black cover for it. So we were after, how much did you want for that, Em?
£10.
£10 for that, brand new, bit of dust on it, but that'll wipe off. It is the cover that goes over the armrest on a P1800, and it's the left-hand door. So there's that. And these we've had for, I don't know when we got these, so a couple of Amazon door pockets in black. So if your door pockets are looking rather ropey but the rest of the door card is fine, then you might enjoy buying those. And that for the pair is?
£18.
£18 for the pair. So if you think you can use those, let us know and we'll send those out to you. And finally, may I just introduce a topic of the week, and I hope to make this a regular one. Over the years, we've seen a few cars come here with the electric power steering added to them, conversion. And we have, without exception, every time disliked the experience. They're just massively over assisted. If you think that motor manufacturers spend millions getting their power steering right, and in probably half cases failing to do so, it's not really surprising that somebody offering £1,000 for a power steering conversion, oh, Emma tells me it's £2,000. For a power steering conversion, it's not going to be right, and sure enough it isn't. However, we think we have the demon tweak. If you have power steering, then this is how to make it behave well. Unplug the electricity, and all of a sudden the car has that accurate, precise handling that the Volvo should have. All of a sudden you're no longer oversteering left and right in bends. It's doing exactly what you expect it to do. You can feel the steering loading up as you press on through a bend, and everything's safe. Try pressing through a bend with power steering on, and you invariably end up making the bend tighter and having to unwind again. Of course, that then makes the next bit of bend sharper, so you have to wind it on again. It's very unsafe and very unpleasant way to drive. Of course, if you go round sedately wafting past bends rather than a sporty approach, then I think probably you can get away with the power steering at a guess. But in case you want to know how to improve your power steering, that's our trick. Disconnect the electricity from it. And on that note, over to me back at home with the new computer. And here is what's been causing us all the heartache for the last few weeks now. Getting a computer up and running, complete with 32 gigs of RAM, 8 gigs of GRAM, an RX 4000 graphics card, and here's 1 hour of 140 rear wheel bearing video rendering right now before we upload it to YouTube. So that's what has taken a huge amount of effort, an implausibly amount of work to get this up and running. But now it is running very nicely. The screen's a bit small, but Emma won't believe me on that one, so I'm not allowed to buy another one. But other than that, all up and running. And we should be able to get back online with producing videos weekly again now.